to Gullah Business of Charleston. This is Tiffany Savage, the Vice President of Gullah Business of Charleston, and I'm here with Nicole Pringle, the President.
Hello,
We're here.
everybody.
We're here today with another exciting feature with Mr. Deak J. Smalls, an actor. So just to get into it, Deak, what inspired you to go into the acting profession?
Um, I've always had a wild imagination since my adolescence. I really fell in love with it going on in the second grade. Again, having that wild imagination, just having the point of wanting to tell stories and having imaginary friends and whatnot. I just wanted to how most actors say they wanted to be shapeshifters. So I've always wanted to just be able to portray other characters and tell their stories and everything, and put me a little bit inside these characters. So I've always had that type of that drive to be a storyteller.
Were you in any school plays or anything, or did you do any like home projects where you just recorded yourself?
Yeah, actually, when I got bitten by the bug of acting, I was born in Germany. My father was in the military, and so I stayed up there till like the second grade. So I would be involved in the school plays and whatnot. And my very first play, which made me fall in love with it, it was a play dealing with George Washington. And initially, I didn't have the part. I wanted the part of George Washington, but clearly, I mean, wrong complexion or whatever. So I was like one of the side guys with no roles, just playing the backdrop. And the day of showtime, the kid who got casted as George Washington, wound up being sick, and we needed to find somebody like instantly to find somebody to fill in the role. Luckily, I wanted the part so bad, I already had his lines memorized in my mind. So I took that leap of faith, and I asked our teacher if I could fill in that role, and she allowed me to do that. And just receiving that warm, that applause and of joy from the audience, that I got bitten by the bug by it since then. So when my father retired in '94, we moved back here to the States in Charleston, South Carolina, and Mount Pleasant to be exact. So I was always involved with the school plays and church plays and community theater and whatnot. So I grew up, became older and started attending college out of town, and just really just getting my hearts in with theater. So I love theater. I love acting. So I've always been heavily involved. I actually want to go back to doing the theater. My last theater production actually I did in 2019 before COVID. I mean, right before COVID happened. Shakespeare, Macbeth, with the South Carolina Actors Theater Group. So I had a fantastic time. So I definitely would like to get back to that.
What has been your most challenging role so far?
Oh man, that's kind of hard to explain, because as an actor, you always want to challenge yourself more and more and more. You always want to take on something that could be greater than your last role. So honestly, I think all of the roles I have partaken in that really helped me see things in a different point of view. Getting into that role and doing your self identification and just doing that homework, putting in the work in creating that character. And sometimes you have to get out of yourself. A lot of actors would pretty much not really give their all, because they're not afraid they're afraid to get into that uncomfortable space. And in order to tell that truth and tell it right, I mean, tell it with justice, you have to get out yourself. You have to get into that uncomfortable space, not worrying about what outsiders think of you or say about you in order to portray that role. So I would say right now, every role I have portrayed was a challenge for me, and I'm expecting, and I want more each role. That's why I'm excited for this year and the year to come for other projects that I'm a part of.
How do you prepare for a role? Like, how do you get started? Like, I always think about trying to memorize. How do you even do that? Memorize the lines and everything.
It is what I do. Everybody has their own technique, right? Um, what I do when I first get those pages, I read those pages at least about 10 times. Not just my lines, but I like to read the whole story because I like to know the story first. I like just a avid reader. I like to know what the story's about, just so you can just get an emotion of what time period we in, where we are, how the character's supposed to feel. Not just your character, how everybody's supposed to feel. So I like to read my pages at least 10 times just to get emotion. Not in the characters, just reading it 10 times. And then once when you start reading it and start getting it clicking, then you start giving it a voice. Start giving it a feeling of how your character feel that day or the next day or whatnot. The lines usually will come to you. I think a lot of actors have trouble, which me as well. I have trouble with that. I was having trouble with that as well, as far as memorizing lines and knowing which actions that you're supposed to do. It's all about just getting comfortable with yourself and how that person feel that day and in that particular scene. So that's what helps me as far as just going over the lines and that feeling how you feel. Like the actor could be angry over, I don't know, the house burned down or something like that. You have that feeling that way, then those lines will really naturally come out of you.
I know I looked at your page and because I was like, okay, what has he, what kind of work did you do so far? And I know I was looking at one in particular. I was looking at I don't know what show it was. Was it the crime investigations when they do the reenactments? I saw you
Oh,
doing that.
Fatal
Because I'm
Attraction.
always like, who are the people that do the reenactments, And I was looking, I
Yeah.
was like, so how did you get into that?
My agent had got me into that. I had a great time filming that. We shot that in Tennessee, and just so happened that the director for that episode is from Charleston as well. Shout out to got my gentleman. I hope he will see this and get upset with me, but um, we had a fun time doing that. It was amazing because we watch these reenactment shows, like the crime solving mysteries and stuff like that. So you never know how, and these are real people who we dealing with. So you kind of have to. I had to really put my homework into identifying with this guy. I wish I had an opportunity to speak with him, but I couldn't. So I just relied on the sources that was given to me and understand where his upbringing and where he resided, and because the actual case took place in New Orleans, so I had to do my research as far as just the how a person from New Orleans or from that Louisiana would act and everything. So I pretty much was my agent helped me out with that, and I had to put in the homework to get myself ready for that. Because again, like I said, it's kind of like a biopic. You are identifying yourself as an actual real person who's still alive. So I had to give that character justice, even though what the crime that he commit, you know. But you can't go into a role judging that person. You got to got to humanize them. So it was kind of tough knowing the fact that the information that was given to me, but I had to take it in and and give the people justice with this role.
So I'm going to back up a little bit. Thank you again for joining us. We can went right into the interview.
Duty.
But some of the stuff you touched on is like character development. We were talking about one other person we had on before you, Chris, about character development and making sure that you present these characters well rounded. Like they just don't look, whoever's watching it just don't look at one view or perspective, like for instance, race, but just the whole development of the character, like where they're from, what conflict is going on. So we were talking about that. But what have been some other surprising things with character development that you found since you've been acting?
I'm pretty sure y'all ever heard of the term of method act. that's when you really get really in depth with that character. Like you actually bring that character in your daily life. You really become that person. Like, and it's kind of hard for me to tap into that because it's very sensitive, it's very pure, so to speak. And I'm a family guy. And let's just say if bringing a role who's have some type of heavy trauma or whatnot, or did something real drastic mentally or whatever, it's hard for me to really tap into that to go in depth with that far as method acting because I don't want to. I'm not that. If that person is a totally opposite to who I am, I don't want to bring that out to my outside
Mhm.
world. I don't want to bring that on my children or to my parents or all my loved ones. So it's more of a disciplining yourself, turning it on and turning it off. Uh, I find it so far because at the end of the day, I'm still a student to this game. You know, so far for me, I find it kind of it's not complicated for me to dwell into dive into a lunatic role and then snap out of it into my everyday life. Because again, I don't want to bring my work home. So it's all about disciplining yourself. It's all about when it's lights, camera, action. When it's cut, pause that. Until the next day of shoot or whatever. And then when I'm done with it, then I can decompress and really let that person go. I haven't got the opportunity to, I guess, get into a more sinister role just yet. But when I get there, it's all preparation of what's to come. So that's my routine when it comes to like getting into that motion of doing the work or whatnot. Because it can
So
be
what would?
scary. It can
Oh,
be
I'm sorry. Go
scary.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like any role, rather as a person as a happy person or a downright menacing guy,
Mhm.
tapping into that person's mind frame could be very how they say it, diabolical.
I
Yeah.
you know?
remember, yeah, it reminded me of when Jack Nicholson, I read something around the time Heath Ledger was doing the Joker, and
Yes.
Jack Nicholson warned him about playing that role. He was like,
Mhm.
you better be very careful playing this role before you do it. And I couldn't understand it at that time. But now, after having this conversation with you, I can see why, because you look at it as pure entertainment,
Yeah.
especially when you look at that version of Batman. But if you think about some of the stuff he had to do in those roles, like, to
He
be
was committed.
convincing, yeah, you had to be
He was
committed to
committed.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong. Most actors who don't really who don't tap into doing method acting, you could be committed as well. Again, it's all about disciplining yourself and turn it off and turn it on. Like I actually kind of took that same routine with the late great Heath Ledger done. As far as he had a book and he wrote down like he pretty much was talking, writing everything down as if he was actually a Joker. So his sinister mind, everything was written down on this page. And I do that for a specific character as well. And it could be dark. It could be dark. It could be some things that in your normal life you would never ever have the thoughts of. But when you're really trying to perfect something pretty be a storyteller, you gotta jump into that to the abyss. you know. So that could be a scary thing. It's all about disciplining yourself. That's all.
Is there a character you haven't played yet that you would like to play? Like, is it a certain role?
Um, you know what? I've been asked that a few times, right? Um, at first, my dream role I would love to do a biopic of either Bill Cosby or Bobby Womack. I find those two people very fascinating. Just knowing what, just really knowing their life. I love biopics, but
Mm-hmm.
now the older I get, I can't necessarily say that I have a specific role I want to tap into. I just want to challenge myself. I want to challenge myself and reach higher and to just to test myself. How far can I go? How if I could break that ceiling, how hard can I break that ceiling and progress up? So it's nothing really specifically who or what I would want to play. It's something that really challenged me, something that really have the audience not see me, but see who I'm playing. So I don't really have a specific person who I would want to play, just long as I could shapeshift and really project that realism into this character by telling a good story.
What advice would you give someone who wants to pursue a career in acting?
Ooh, sweet, sweet. If you really want this, you really got to just take your time. Don't rush yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself in those acting classes. Like, just because, I mean, even if you begin an actor, you don't have no type of work to showcase your work to get roles or whatnot. Get yourself in the acting classes. You are still considered as a working actor, even if you're not booking any roles or doing any auditions. You're still sharpening that tool. So when you're sharpening that tool, you still consider yourself as an actor. And then in this day and age, you could create your own content now. That's what a lot of people are doing with a cell phone. Start networking with people. Build that community. That's why I say key point of taking acting classes and meeting people and getting to know people. And you never know who could point you to the right direction to speak to encounter with, to connect with. Like in Charleston, like I built a community. I built a community of friends and family who I consider as a family, who are putting in projects, who may know somebody that knows somebody to help me. That which helped me got me my first agent here. So it's all about just sharpening the tool, not being afraid to fall, because believe me, you're gonna receive a lot of no's, But it only takes that one yes to really get you to that position that you want to get. But just embrace the no's, because there's a reason for that. I'm a spiritual person, right? I'm a spiritual. What God had for you is going to be for you. So those no's may not be for you, maybe for somebody else. And thank God that you received that no, because if you receive that yes when you know you're not ready for it, you might get yourself in a hard spell that you wasn't prepared for, because you wasn't being patient and embracing the no's. So it'll come. Just continue just to work on the craft. Take lessons. Continue to take lessons. I've been doing this for God knows how long, professionally since 2013, honestly. And I'm still a student to this game. I'm still taking classes. I'm still learning online. I'm still reading. Build up that intellect. It's just, just build your vocabulary and get to know people. Get yourself active. Take dancing lessons, any type of, boxing lessons, sports, any type of sports or whatever. Just keep that body limber, So that's my advice to anybody who want to get in this business, because it's not no piece of cake, and that's good, because you don't want to get yourself something that won't challenge you. That's for any field. Honestly, I'm sure you ladies experiencing that in the field y'all in. It's not no cakewalk. You learn to embrace it and to accept it and to be more humble and more appreciative to it, because what the excuse my friend, the shit that you had to do to get here. So put that way.
That's true. I have a 2-part question. Okay. Well, hold on. First, I always ask this question when I meet people anyway. First part is, give me your top 5 movies, your favorite movies.
Lord.
It don't have to be in no order. It could just be top 5.
Ooh, all right. Don't have me in order. All right. I'll wait for you to accept, because Lord, if you ask me for something in order. All right. My top 5 movies, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord, it's a million. Ali. Will Smith, Ali. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Heat. Golly, man. I'll put Black Panther, the first Black Panther. I'll put Black Panther, but since I'm such a huge fan of the late great Chadwick Boseman. I would say the original Color Purple. How much that was 3? That was 3?
I think that was 4. Was that 4?
That was 4.
That was 4?
I think. Yeah, it was
One,
4.
one more. Um, you know what? I was just talking about this. I got that quick. I put Matrix, the
Oh
first one,
wow.
the very first one.
The first one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very
yeah,
different movies. Like I see that's very different.
Mhm.
yeah.
So with that being said, that goes into my second part of the question. Who
Uh,
would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
well, love. This is locally, or are we talking about on the
If
superstars?
you had a choice of
It
anybody,
doesn't matter, like
What
whoever.
doesn't
yeah.
matter?
We
Um,
manifesting over here.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Um, Viola Davis.
Oh
You know,
wow.
Mhm.
just the fact that she's just, so the fact that she's from the home state or whatnot, and just the scene, just knowing her story and what she put into this, like just knowing her story, what she did. How
Mhm.
can I don't even want to just work with her. I just want to be her friend. I just want to be her friend. You know, just to feel, just to gain so much knowledge from her. Angela Bassett, that's another one. When I was a kid, I would always tell my mom, one day I'm gonna make a movie about my life, and I want Angela Bassett to play her. And she held on to that even to this day. She would tell people that that her son say one day he make a movie about her life, he want Angela Bassett. So every time I would see Angela Bassett play a movie in a movie, I always envision her being my mother. And it's with Black Panther, which is one of my favorite because I always see myself as T'Challa, and she was my mother. So I always want to build with her. And there was so many other people. Again, with Chadwick Boseman, I wish I had opportunity to work with him, but God, has his reasons with how he handled things. Uh, but it's so many people. It's so many people. Golly, man, that it's so much. I have a book where I've written down every actor who I admire. And when I tell you, I'm about like 15 pages deep right now.
Oh wow.
I got like Robin Williams. He's a big influence in my life.
Oh yeah.
Robin Williams, uh,
Mhm.
uh, John Amos from Good Times, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, that's my TV dad. That's my movie TV dad. I always tell people that. You know, that's why I actually had the opportunity to audition for Coming to America as the son, even though a lot of people was like, nah. But I wanted that. I was aiming for that, bro. I was aiming for that, but
I'm surprised you wasn't in it. Everybody was in that one.
everybody named Mama, right? Yeah, but
Everybody was in that one.
things happen, so things didn't work out, but it's all good though. I'm still, like you said, manifesting that one day, I'll have the opportunity to work with that great
Mhm.
man right there, man. So it's a million people. Glenn Close, man, everybody. I don't have one specific person. Like I said, I have a whole booklet with 15 people. So you name the person, yes, I want to work with them. And I have my own personal reason why I would love to work.
I guess I can go ahead and ask this question. What are some upcoming projects that you're working on right now?
Oh, okay. Well, um, I'm actually about to start production on an actual psychological thriller called Peripheral. I'm excited about that. That was actually the table read I had last time I was supposed to meet with you guys. Um, and I'm also working on two more projects I got cast in, and also create my own stories. I'm working with some team that I've worked with before previously, and we're trying to create our own stories, not just waiting for the hand out to the opportunities. We're going, like Tyler Perry said, I build, create our own tables, So we're working on that as well. But I'm really I got some stuff coming up. I also worked on two projects that's done. A short that's been actually got picked up to a couple of film festivals down here called Love Request, um, by my good friend Desiree Smith and Destiny Moon from upstate South Carolina. So, and I've also worked on another project along with my son that I'm very excited for, and I can't wait. It's another psychological thriller, short. I'm excited for that one, and just be able working with my firstborn. Uh, who I thought that, wasn't paying attention to my career like that, the fact that he wanted to work with me on something, and I had opportunities to get cast by this director, and they would just so happen was looking for a kid his age. And I didn't really thought about it. Something just tell me, just throw my son's name out there. And he was like, he would love to audition for him. He didn't. Surprisingly, he did great on the audition. Like I was surprised myself, because again, he's more into sports and into animals and stuff like that. So I'm like, this kid don't want to be an actor, but he did such a great. So I can't wait for you guys to see this. And I'm so proud of him. I'm sorry, I know you was asking about me, but when something that my kid wanted to do that he see his daddy does. So it's like, man. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. I think as of right now, that's the most anticipated I am for this project, just to see that, so everybody can see that.
That's awesome. And as soon as you get the reels and everything ready for it, please share it with us. We would love to promote it. We would love to.
Definitely will. Definitely. Oh yeah. It should be out soon. If not, early next year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our elevator pitch question that my cousin put together. I love this question.
Oh boy.
What 3 words would you use to describe you as an actor, and why? You pick words that you could also use as affirmations too.
Okay. I would definitely say bravery.
Mm-hmm.
Uncomfortable. And I say that because I can't live my life in an uncomfortable way. Because as an artist, not just being an actor or whatnot, anybody who's a painter or whatever, who's into dealing with artists, you want to live yourself in an uncomfortable way that would challenge you, that push you, which I told you earlier. Just willing to push yourself and to see how far you will go with things. So I like to describe myself being an uncomfortable person. And third, I'll say generous, because I like whatever I do. I don't like to do things for myself. I really don't. I really like to do things for others, rather it's something that I love to do or something going out my way to do for people, So I like to. It's a sense of gratitude, I guess people say, putting a smile on other people's faces. It's a gift and a curse also, because it's kind of people pleasing, and I sometimes find myself suffering from that. But at the same time, at a good thing, you knowing you're a person that's not about self, and I feel that's what we put on God's green earth to do, is to not think about self and give back to others, not just to you and yours, but to people who may not know you. So I look at myself as those 3 things: bravery, uncomfortable, and generous.
I love those. I love when we ask those questions, because you get a better feel of the person, and then they're able to express who they are more, which reaches out to whoever's viewing, right? So
Right.
I just love when people answer that and explain why.
Thank you for asking me that, because I don't think I've ever been asked that before, honestly. So that had made me really think about myself, like, how can I identify myself in just 3 words? So I appreciate that, because I never really thought of thinking like
that. Yeah, that's credit to Tiffany Savage with that.
Okay, so appreciate that, Ms. Tiff.
It's good. We want to build up everybody that comes up here and showcase everything that they're doing. And we know, like, everyone we've had on so far, we've been blessed that people, have given up their generous time, just like you have. You could have canceled on us, but you chose to come and feature with us, because we know how those table reads go. They could say one thing and then they could change the time abruptly. So we appreciate it.
That's why last time I asked if I could, reschedule with you guys, and I was like, please, I hope they don't get upset with me, because I really did not know at the time. But I know how that process goes with but these table reads, and even with taping and everything, they could tell you it'll be done at one certain time, and you'll be finished by 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't. I'm just grateful that you guys are able to still wanted to talk with me. I really do appreciate this.
But thank you so much. I know Nikki probably has some more other questions too, follow-up questions.
That's why you're looking at me. Okay. I
I
didn't know. I was like, you gonna know?
Hey, I can end it, but
No, we gotta. Okay, I gotta say this part. So, how can you be reached? How can everybody follow you to keep updated on what you got going on?
Oh, I'm plain and simple. Deak J Smalls, everything. Specifically in Instagram, my Facebook page, on YouTube. I was on Twitter, but I just, I tried to just tear off pieces of limbs in my life dealing with social media. So Twitter was no good for me. No good for me. But everything Deak J Smalls, DEAK J Smalls, SMALLS. I just found I'm on Threads. I don't know how, but I'm gonna work with it though. I'm gonna figure this out. So I'm gonna see what it's all about. But other than that, then again, I'll have work. I'm putting in the work on myself personally and in my career. So, but yeah, that's the easy way to find me on social media, so as far as on Instagram and Facebook.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and just much success to you. And if you have anything else going on, please reach out to us so we can put it out there for you.
Definitely. Before we leave, I just want to tell you ladies, just thank you. I'm pretty sure y'all received this already, but I just want to say thank y'all, because again, I've been tuning into you guys for a while, and I appreciate what y'all doing. Just the name itself, it was like it's very strong, and it attaches. And I love what y'all doing for the community and what y'all doing for us. And y'all know who I mean, for us. So
exactly.
I appreciate that. I'm always support that in each and every way, or any way possible. So I just thank y'all for what y'all do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. And thank you everybody for watching. And please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.
You can now schedule an interview on our website. Please read the requirements before booking. Thank you, and welcome to the Gullah Business of Charleston family.